okay.
Right. Well, I know lately, these last couple of weeks, we've been talking about feelings. You know, we did the emotional color wheel. We talked about some tough feelings, sadness and things that, you feel like represent those things in your life. And so today I planned this really fun activity. It's called the Inside Outside Mask. And before I talk a little bit more about it, I want you to go ahead and I want you to label both your faces. So on one of them, underneath, I want you to write inside, and on the other one, I want you to write outside.
Okay.
Okay? So we're going to start with the outside mask.
Okay.
So let's move this to the side. All right, so what I want you to do is think about what comes to mind when you think about how you let the world see you. How do we interpret who you are? How do people see you? So I want you to think of some different traits, characteristics. It could be physical. It could be brown hair. Or it could be anything related to any feelings. So I want you to think about it and depict how you feel like people see you.
Okay.
Okay?
Should I explain it as I'm doing it or just draw?
Just draw. Yeah, we'll go through after you finish. And if you have any questions throughout, you can just stop and ask me.
Okay.
Okay?
Not a very good artist.
There's no right or wrong way of doing it, so.
I don't know.
How would you describe yourself? Are you more of a, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but more so, are you more bubbly, outgoing, more introverted, or more serious?
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself?
Definitely more introverted, but I try to like have a happy face for
Mhm.
people, like always look put together.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what, like, it's just, I don't know.
What's a symbol or an item that will represent that put togetherness for you? Like what comes to your mind when you think of that?
I don't know, I always think like, you have to have your makeup done and
Mhm.
just look like you had time to, spend
Yeah.
on yourself, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay.
I think like you always have that smile.
Is that something
So-
you would like to present on your face here, like some makeup, like do the look of that poised, put together look?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And this bronze color.
Just do the shading.
You can do whatever you like. And you can also write descriptive words too,
Okay.
if you'd like. So, how people may see you. Do they see you as judgmental? Do they see you as friendly, kind, bold, or any type of words like those?
Okay.
legit for that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Alright, so let's switch, and then we're gonna do your inside next. Okay. Alright, so I kind of want you the same thing, kind of same concept, but this is how you really are. Who you really are, who is Emily.
Okay.
Are you this friendly, caring, hardworking, generous person that people see you as? And if so, you can put that in there. If not, who really, what's really going on in there?
Okay. That's probably. I had years for this one because I feel like really I spend a lot more time like listening to people and not really share my opinions as much. So that's again with the mouth, like it wasn't a smile, it's just kind of a straight line. Because I'm not like always sad, but I'm also like not necessarily as happy as I would like, pretend to be. And then I didn't add like the makeup this time, and I did. That's supposed to be like bags in the eyes, so like show tiredness. Yeah, I'd say I'm just a lot more stressed and like kind of depressed than I let on, so I just wrote those and a lot more withdrawn. So that's why again big years and
Okay. And so you try to find some type of balance because, as far as like the smile, not being so happy, representing happiness, but also not representing sadness all the time. So just some middle ground.
yeah, I feel like I don't know, in general I'm not a super emotional person. So it's like that's why it wasn't like a frown. Because it's not like I'm always like really beat down about everything. It's just, it takes a little more effort to be like super smiley all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at these and kind of compare. We kind of went through and processed the inside. So what about this outside? I know you mentioned the phrase kind of put together.
Yeah.
Boys. So I guess in reality, for the most of the time, this is kind of what represents who you are really inside. And so this hardworking, friendly, caring, generous. Would you say these are not representative of how you really are, or how would you describe that?
I think it's true for the most part. Like I do, I care about other people. I think what it is just I put too much of myself into it, and I don't want people to realize that like it's difficult to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like it's true. It's just I have to make sure it seems like oh that just comes naturally. It's no big deal.
Right.
Kind of thing. So I think it's who I am, but it just takes more effort than I want people to realize.
Okay.
Because like I'm not the kind of person to really like share if I'm having a hard time with something, but like I'll listen and be a friend with someone.
Okay.
And I I guess it's something I like about myself, and I want others to see me that way, and not necessarily see like that I'm having problems and that it's hard for me to always be listening to
Yeah.
others.
So how would you define or identify that piece of, not speaking your feelings and how you feel? Because you sound like, you're there for other people, but life's tough for all of us. So, I mean, I can only imagine, how do you let that out? What's your outlet?
Normally I just keep it all inside until it's kind of like an explosion, then I'll have like a rough day where it's like, oh, I just can't do it anymore,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
cry, or maybe I'll just stay in bed that day or something, yeah, I tend to keep it all in until I can't deal with it anymore.
Okay. And do you feel like that's something that works for you that, you're just going to continue to do, or are you open for maybe some new ways of dealing with your emotions and feelings and identifying when you're angry, when you're sad, when you need help, and, is that okay to do? Yes, it is okay to do, and if it is, then how can I do it? Who's people I can talk to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the healthiest way to deal with things. I think it'd probably be better to like share my feelings and everything all along instead of just like letting it all build up. I've just been doing it for so long. I don't know.
Yeah,
It'd be a hard change.
Okay. I would like to try something different. Just kind of popped up in my head actually. So, this is in a sense how people see you in your eyes and in your mind. And here, this is who you really are. But I'm curious to know who you would like to be. Like, who would you really want to see? Even though this is what you put together. You're hardworking. You're always on it. It's no problem. But in reality, you're really tired and you're stressed. You have a lot on your plate. At least that's what I'm hearing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong too.
That sounds right.
But I wonder, what is it that you would really like to have exude from you? What is it that you want people to see, and that's the real you, and not this put together part? So if you could, I say take about 4 to 5 minutes,
Okay.
and I want you to draw and use the colors, use words. This is who you would like to be.
Okay.
Okay.
Trying to do just like a combination of the two, really. So like I still have the bags under my eyes, and like still still a little bit of makeup. The word that came to my mind was balanced.
Okay.
Like, because I really like listening to other people and trying to help them with their problems.
Mhm.
But I think I need to spend more time like, healing with myself
Some
too.
self-care, yeah. Absolutely.
So, I still have the ears to listen to everybody, and I have like not quite as big of a smile.
Mhm.
I feel like that would come a little more naturally than like
Yeah.
the totally always perky.
Mhm.
Um,
What about this confident word?
yeah, that's something I would really like. I think sometimes I don't tell people like what's going on with me because I feel like they'll think badly of me or think like, oh, she can't handle it. Like if she's having a hard time, then that means that she can't do it.
Yeah.
So I think that in order for me to be more expressive,
Mhm.
I would need more confidence to be like, everyone has problems.
Yes, we're human. Life happens. Things happen. Okay.
And I feel like that's the kind of thing like I say when I'm like helping my friends, like, oh yeah, everyone has problems, but then like I don't allow that
For
to
yourself.
translate to myself. Yeah, so I think confidence is the big thing. Like I think that's why I have like this big sunny exterior. 'Cause you want people to think that you have it together.
Yeah.
Um,
What might you say might be that that obstacle getting in the way of you being able to build that confidence? Could it maybe be like trust or just self-accepting? For who you are yourself.
Yeah, I think it's probably more like self-acceptance. Like, I don't spend a lot of time like giving myself credit for anything. It's like, okay, I did that, now I need to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So I think maybe just realizing,
Validating what you do and the importance of it. Not that you even said this, but sometimes we may minimize things that we do. Like you said, okay, I did that. Oh well, but it could be something that's so super awesome and really cool that you did, something. So just understanding and realizing that hey, you did it. Take that moment to be proud of yourself and be proud of who you are, because that matters.
yeah, because I definitely do that. Like, it'll be something I've been working towards, and then I'm like, okay, cool, that's done. Like I don't take the time to be like, oh, all that effort
Yeah.
really paid off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably one reason. Like, I guess if I'm not taking the time to appreciate it, then why would I think anything of myself?
Yeah. Okay. So overall, more social is the last word that you have down there. Is more social.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, I have a few close friends, and like we'll talk a lot, but I kind of wish I was that person to just go out and
Yeah.
do things and meet new people and have new experiences. And I don't. Maybe that's an issue with confidence too. There's always something kind of holding me back from trying.
Okay. Well, I think we've gotten a lot done so far today. We kind of went to another level. And what we can do, we can look into those things, those elements. What is that trigger? What's holding you back? What are some things? And we can talk about that. That maybe next week can be like, and look more into it. So how did you feel about the activity today?
I liked it. It's interesting to see, like, especially like what would be the ideal. It's interesting to see, like, because neither of them is like totally wrong. So
Mhm.
it's just realizing that I need more of a balance in my life, and that was eye-opening. I love that.
Okay. But do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, I'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you.